Hello and welcome to podcast review number 10, The Barbell Life of Travis Mash and Crystal McCulloch, episode 333, Lessons for Success with Bert Sorin of Sorinex. Sorinex, a wonderful company who kind of make gym equipment, but they don't just make the traditional stuff, they make kind of pulleys and jammer arms, and it's really stuff that you can clip onto kind of any rack. It's pretty cool. Very S&C heavy, but they all come from a lifting background. So he was a thrower, Bert Sorin. Now, again, I've had a bit of a run of these. I haven't made too many notes, and I think it's because I keep picking podcasts that are, he tells a lot of personal stories that there's not really much notes to write about. Obviously, I don't have to talk about the specifics from each story, but I've only made 3 points. First one, how you do anything is how you do everything. Now, obviously, he didn't make that up, but that's one of the benefits, I think, of being an athlete, and then just benefit being an athlete in relation to any other pursuit, if it's business, if it's academia, music, anything. Learning how to be the best ever athlete is learning how to be that you can be is, all the skills are transferable to all other walks of life. So persistence, we talked about a lot in the podcast, was one of the biggest things. Hard work, optimizing your performance however way you can. So that's quite a good one, because it's not always just about, obviously it is about working hard, but it's not always about working stupid. Obviously working smart is you can still work hard. You just don't have to be in the gym for 8 hours a day and then get injured and then have to take a couple of months off. So there's smart ways to do it as well. But yeah, one of his big philosophies was how you do anything is how you do everything. And that really resonates with me. I think, obviously this is a bit more of a philosophy-based podcast, so I'll talk about mine as well a little bit. But I think that's one of the reasons why I don't really necessarily want to bring like mental health stuff into it, but I think obviously I do because I'm talking about it. But one of the reasons why I think I do so well in quite a few different, or have done well in a few different pursuits, is being obsessive and being kind of perfectionist about things is very beneficial. Now obviously it comes at a cost, and that's for another conversation. But being a perfectionist it's obviously multi-dimensional. It changes per kind of activity you're doing, but if it's something you're passionate about, you'll probably be pretty perfectionistic. So striving for perfection gets you to a certain level a lot quicker than most people, because you put in a lot more work and specific work, and you'll go to a deeper, darker place, I personally think. So that's one of the points. So the second point is, business decisions don't have to make you feel good. I think, now this is interesting because he did very much later say, don't, obviously if you treat people with compassion as well, people will look at that and think that treating people like dog shit is the best way to go, and obviously it's not. But he said the two biggest things with him were work as hard as you can and treat everyone with compassion, and you'll get pretty far. That does make a lot of sense, to be fair. Like, he was talking about how some of the elite guys, it was actually Michael Phelps, he talked about obviously probably if not the greatest athlete ever, most Olympic medals ever, has an unbelievable haul of medals and success. And it was just after his last medal, I think, that he got. It was in the non-swimming season, whether that's winter or summer or whatever. And he told one of his athletes, "Oh, Michael Phelps is going to be coming down to do to shoot some videos or something." And the athlete was like, "Who cares? No, I don't care at all." And that's it. Sport is just sport. You won't be remembered, or not to the same level. Like, if you are the 1 in a billion people who get to that level, that's the top of the top of the top. You kind of probably will be remembered, I guess, but only if people bring it up, and at some point people will lose interest. And I mean, these guys were losing interest straight away. Like, they were like, oh, he hasn't swum in months, so what's he done now? And that's like, fair enough. And top level sport is such a cutthroat sport, a cutthroat business, that you've got to be performing all the time, and as soon as you don't, that's your legacy done, basically. So it's all well and good being selfish and trying to be the best athlete you can, but if you're selfish, so selfish to the point of not helping anyone or even harming other people, if that's what you want to do, fair enough, but you've got to take the consequences that comes, because after sport, you're in the real world, so good luck. And that's why obviously a lot of college athletes in America after college kind of go real downhill, because they've got nothing. They've gone from being the stars of their state, maybe, if it's football, for example, and then they graduate, and if they don't make the NFL, it can be pretty hard for them. Oh, excuse me. It can be pretty hard for them, because they were this huge thing, and now they're not, and people forget pretty quickly, because within the next year, the next crop of guys is up. So that's it. And then all the top guys. Final point: all the top guys from different sports seem to be similar. Now, this was talking about if you get a group of the most macho kind of sports or people. So he was talking about military, and then top sports like weightlifting, powerlifting, football, maybe throwing, wrestling. If you get the top of the top wrestlers in a room, they're probably going to start arguing pretty soon, because that's their personality. They're so masculine and aggressive, and it's probably opinionated. But if you get one from each sport and put them in the same room, they'll all, and that's what they do at Sorinex, obviously, there's going to be no fighting. They all respect each other. They all respect each other's hardships, and because I think there's like a mutual understanding there, they're not in direct competition, which helps them get along. But yeah, the characteristics of these top guys are all pretty similar as well. And that's probably something we know intuitively. I think we know that. Obviously, all the psychological characteristics are similar. But in terms of personality and kind of compatibility with each other, seems to be at a similar level too. So makes a lot of sense to me. If you've got a top weightlifter and a top powerlifter, they'd probably be pretty okay with each other. They probably wouldn't have any issues. Makes a lot of sense. So there you go. That was episode 333, Barbell Life, Lessons for Success with Bert Sorin of Sorinex. And to be fair, obviously he did say a lot in the podcast. It was a really good podcast. He gave lots of good stories about how he got into throwing and made the Olympic trials, and then got into this work. But that one quote of how you do anything is how you do everything. That and being compassionate to other people is lessons for success. So I guess he did get the objective. I just didn't make a lot of points, but there you go. So hope you enjoyed, and that was number 10.